Thank you for all of you for caring, for participating and being out here today. I'm James Chesser, your candidate for District 21 State Senate, and it's my honor to tell you a little bit about myself for those who don't know me and my vision. But first, since we're following this very inspiring trail of epiphanies, I have to add, for those who have not heard this before, I came to this race dragged, kicking and screaming. It was not my intent ever to be in the political fray. I'm not a politician. I'm your neighbor. I'm your friend. I'm one of you. I'm a volunteer. But about a year ago, I was involved in a SRP, which Colonel Dutton understands to be a soldier readiness program where the National Guard troops are deployed to Iraq or Afghanistan. And we look after all the problems legally that they have before they're shipped out. Theory being that if you take care of business back home, they can fully attune themselves to the problems overseas, protect their bodies, look after them. And as I was taking care of this young soldier's will and power of attorney, we engaged in some pretty meaningful conversation about life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and the disconnect between law and life. And we agreed you'd be crazy to jump into the political fray. It was corrupt, it was expensive, it had no end of separation from your family and your friends and vilification of the press. Why bother? He paused right in the middle of this conversation. He looked up and he said, "No disrespect, Major, but I'm about to dodge bullets. What's the point if no one's looking after business back home?" I rationalized that a little while and turned it over and really tried to figure out a way to avoid being accountable for my patriotism and for my country and my state. I'm proud of the state, but I couldn't find a way. And I'd gladly sidle up to some other individual that was running if I believed that they had the principles in the Constitution, the conservative values that this group espouses, and could connect the dots, join people together. My background is I'm a father of a 4-year-old child. My wife fled to this country from Hungary. She knows what America means. She knows it's a lamplight for the whole world to follow. We may forget it, we may not see it, but it's there, burning bright. I have applied myself as your neighbor and your volunteer to be engaged for 25 years in every part of this community I could volunteer in. I've also helped a lot of foreign businesses come over to America and create jobs and products. I deal with the taxes. I deal with the red tape they get from Uncle Sam at every corner for having an investment, having an interest in trying to build a new life here for people. The intellectual property, the taxes, the customs, the trade, the immigration, the works. And recently, I've helped Tennessee businesses help export their products and services overseas to China. And for those of you who've been to China, you'll know that once you see Shanghai, your view of Manhattan will never be the same again. What an amazing, amazing world is rising up right before our eyes in Asia. It's time that we really acknowledge that. Finally, in addition to helping with people with foreign governments come over to America and start businesses, export products and services overseas, and also dealing with all these federal agencies, my greatest strength and the skill I'm proudest of is that I've helped build bridges in 24 years. I mean, we all know that we've got great people in this community. People in this community can be great but have differing opinions. You can have people going to the same church, the same core values as yourself that don't agree on certain policies of the federal or state government. How do you build a core, if it's possible at all? In my legal practice, what I've done is worked very hard to develop a skill set over the years where we could find the common values of people and build an agreement around those common values. In our case, it's simply the Constitution. It's conservatism, fiscal conservatism. Most people want the same thing out of life. It's not just a two-dimensional approach to politics. But it takes work, it takes skill to really listen to somebody and to figure out what those core values are and to put a deal together that brings harmony and it brings progress back. I had a rule, and that is when I was about to have my client sign a contract, against another party with diverging interests, I would ask a simple question to the other side. Are you happy? Are you excited? Are you pumped about this? Because if you're not, we're going to rip it up and start all over again. I mean, any of you who've been there know there are no amount of words or legislation or laws that are going to make people happy. If the deal is flawed, you're going to pay for it. So that is probably my greatest strength, is bridge building. And with that said, I want to let you know how respectful I am of people in this community who provide healing services. There's a sense that lawyers are the enemy of doctors, and I'm here to tell you that's just not true. Not at all. I do believe that there need to be reasonable caps on liability suits. And I do believe that we've got to have a healthcare policy that's built from the grassroots up. We need doctors with greater voices here. And that is my segue into my vision. Because my vision is a simple one. It takes good community to make government work. And we can engage more people, including doctors. We can empower more people to participate, to volunteer, and to get their voices heard. We can build more bridges between government and the community. We can allow government to work locally with the community and listen to it in a whole new way. It's right in front of us, and it can be the community and not special outside interests or the grandstanders that most control the legislative process. Imagine that. Community-driven government. Conservative, constitutional, from the grassroots up. And you might say, well, how can you do that? You can't fight City Hall. You cannot take America and redesign it. But you know, we can take this one small corner of Davidson County, and we can connect the people who are actually building it and give them back their voice and build those bridges to government again. I know, because I've dealt with those people all my professional life. They're here. People are providing service, providing help to others in Tennessee. Flood relief, hospital relief, guard relief. They're here. They just don't have a voice. They've been squeezed out. If this model could be put in place of community-driven government, we would have a model that could, in 5 or 10 years, change other counties, maybe even other states. What a novel concept, the community leading government. And I'll end by saying this, that I've seen this in action no more clearly than in the FEMA relief. I saw FEMA officials while I was helping build back some of the lives of people who lost their houses in floods. I saw FEMA officials with their hands in their pocket, delaying things, being inefficient, being bumbling, being obtrusive, and I saw volunteers of this state plow forward right ahead. And you know what happened? FEMA got excited. There are people there. They're not just all regulators and legislatures and bureaucrats. They're actual people, and they were inspired by our community, and they started working better. And that is the concept. Community can lead government. We don't need wise old men on the hill telling us what to do. We have got to have the voice of the common man and common sense and common heart back where it belongs, in the legislative plaza. And I'm tired of just putting up with business as usual government is so should you. We deserve better. We're in a rut, and if we don't do something to fix it, you're not going to build your walls high enough and your gates wide enough to deal with this. There is a day of reckoning. We've got a $1.4 billion deficit to accomplish, to figure out. We've got problems in jobs that we're hemorrhaging, budget deficits, immigration, crime, healthcare, the works, and we need fresh ideas. We need new energy, and if we don't get it soon, we're going to lose part of what we respect and love about this country. We can do it. We can do it starting with you, right here, right now. The cycle ends. The cycle breaks. I ask for your vote. I'm running for State Senate, District 21. I need your help. Thank you.